Let's take you to Bujumbura now. Burundi's presidential election that was to be held on Wednesday next week has been postponed to July the 21st. Presidential spokesman Gervais Abayeho has been quoted saying the decree to postpone the presidential vote had been signed by President Pierre Nkurunziza on Friday in response to the request made by leaders of the East African Community states plus South Africa. Burundi has witnessed weeks of protests and violent clashes between security forces and groups opposed to Nkurunziza's third-term bid.
The situation in Burundi's capital city Bujumbura is tense as the country plans to hold a presidential vote. According to media reports, 12 gunmen were killed yesterday in clashes with the Burundian security forces near the border with Rwanda. The fighting took place near Rugazi, 140 kilometers north of Bujumbura, in a thickly forested area on the Rwandan border. Rebel Burundian army soldiers who attempted but failed to overthrow President Pierre Nkurunziza in a coup in mid-May have claimed to have masterminded the attack on government troops. The UN Human Rights Chief Zeid Ra'ad Al Hussein this week told the UN Security Council that security was deteriorating rapidly in Burundi and that an explosion of violence was looming. Hussein told the Security Council his office has documented dozens of killings in the past 2 months, most of them shootings of demonstrators and human rights defenders by the youth wing and security forces. Hussein has urged the government to disarm the Imbonerakure youth wing of the ruling CNDD-FDD party immediately. Burundi has been hit by violence since April when President Pierre Nkurunziza announced he would be seeking a third term in office. The opposition argues the president's move violates the constitution, which provides for a maximum of 2 terms. But Nkurunziza cites a court ruling that cleared him for an extra term. Opposition parties stayed away from parliamentary polls in June, handing Nkurunziza's party a landslide win. The opposition says it will boycott the presidential vote. Leaders from the East African Community states recently met in Tanzania's capital city, Dar es Salaam, and called for Burundi's presidential election to be delayed in a bid to resolve the political crisis. The UN Human Rights Chief says refugees fleeing Burundi have reported targeted campaigns of intimidation and terror and have blamed the atrocities on Imbonerakure militia. More than 140,000 people have fled to neighboring states for fear of violence. A general involved in the failed coup attempt this week said his comrades were still planning to oust Nkurunziza. But the government says any attempt to destabilize Burundi will be crushed by security forces. Patrick Amimo, KTN.